Morning traders, welcome to the pre-market stream via YouTube that we open up to the public every single Wednesday. Thanks for joining us this morning. And if you have us a little bit of a breakdown, what's going to happen here? This is Spartan speaking, by the way. Once I'm done, Beth's going to pop on. She's going to be going through some of the bigger picture items that make sense to be looking at today, whether they're ETFs, commodities, big caps, etc. Doesn't matter. We'll also be talking about the news events that are going to be happening over the course of today that makes sense to be watching. After that's done, I'm going to be coming on. We're going to be going through the individual names I'm looking at that are gapping up, gapping down this morning, going through the news associated with those gap up, gap downs, as well as going through the SPY, the FANG, the VIX, the Qs, and the IWM from a technical standpoint. After that is finished, South Beach will come on going through the analyst calls for the day that he's looking at, any of the macro environment or macro events over the course of this evening and this morning that he's needs to be aware of, or we need to be aware of as well. And then I'll come back on once he's done and we'll do a quick little recap of those individual names. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Beth, guys, and I will talk to you shortly. Beth, if you're ready, it's all yours.
I am indeed. Thank you so much, sir. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my friends. Pre-market here, as Spartan mentioned. Look, FOMC, right? That's what we're going to focus ourselves on. I think this is actually earnings / FOMC, but the reality is I do not think the market will take it kindly if Powell doesn't slightly dial it back or pivot. I mean, that's just factual, right? I mean, seriously. Let's look at what happened overnight. API, huge. I mean, I'm not talking, but huge draw in terms of stockpile. So that was like, that was shocking as far as I'm concerned. Manufacturing index out of Australia. We look at this a lot because it gives us a pulse what's going on in the Asia Pacific Rim. And Australia is obviously doing probably the best in that area. Monetary policy, Japan, Australia building permits better, home loans, way worse. That's really important. Okay, lending, way worse. Okay, building permits, way worse. So stuff that deals with the housing, mortgages, it really taking a dive there. And I think that is going to be systemic. Clearly, I think what we have been doing a round tripper in terms of the quantitative easy money, things like that. Look, I mean, the reality is this Fed, F- Fed, ease too long and it's going to tighten too long. And you know the narrative. If you draw down your balance sheet and you raise rates, that's a double tightening, and that's why our friend Jeremy Siegel's all in advance. All right, let's see what came out of Germany. Right, here's their balance of trade, way better than expected. Unemployed persons, as expected, just about. Unemployment change, that was really interesting, right? And rate 5.5, doing better. And then you see here we had the mortgage back 7.06. I don't know if you saw the Treasury I bonds. It was reset down to 6.89%, I think, for the next 6 months. It's still better than what you're getting right now in a lot of things. So ADP, so jolted people, right? Okay, so this unemployment narrative, and obviously we get non-farm payroll on Friday, is very, very, very sticky, right? I think the offset will be if we start to see an abatement on the hourly wages, clearly, right? So this morning, 8:15, we've got the ADP numbers, and you can see here is the 30-year. This is still very usurious. It's not so much that it's 7%, it's that the spread between what the banks are borrowing and then lending at is the largest it's been in like 40 years, over 40 years, okay? That's what's got my shorts in a twist. If the government wants to get involved with anything, this is what they should be getting involved in, okay? I'm just saying, hey, if you're gonna get involved, to do something constructive, why don't you? Okay, then we have, you can see here, the EIA numbers coming out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Russia's kind of pivoted again, and with the grain, whatever. Look at this, CDS. I've mentioned this. I think anything under $90 is a long-term swing. I bought for my account at $88 plus. And then you can see here that Generac All these pre-reported Airbnb, not a good look. AMD, a good look, right? And then we got Qualcomm, we got Marathon, right? This is going to be interesting with Moderna. It's fun shits and bits right now, but it's also more than that, right? Look at this list, okay? This is, in terms of volatility, the largest week. So, I mean, look at this list. Now, making me proud, CVS did raise guidance as well. Estee Lauder down, Goose down, right? Generac as expected, but who cares? Humana, better numbers than expected. Well, yeah, I would say that. I mean, Twins is our specialist on that sort of stuff, right? Down, down. It's just fun. I mean, I love the HCNP, Horizon Therapeutics, got it higher. Zimmer, higher. I love it. Just love it, right? Charles River. I haven't traded this stock in a long time. So, lots of fun. Okay, what do we got? This was the job openings that kind of scared the market yesterday, right? If they're data, look, if they're data dependent, what the hell are they looking at? Okay, can you be a little bit more specific in your data dependent stuff? All right, here's manufacturing construction in place, private computer, right? Look at this. Nice, very nice. Okay, so, you know, this administration that doesn't get much credit for a lot of most of the things they do, I know, but we do have to give them credit, okay, when they do something right. And they are doing right against, right, when it comes to China, right? Short data SPX volume as a percentage of total. This is crazy. Right, look at the volume on this stuff the last 2 quarters. High yield bond ETF. Look, money's still flowing into this stuff. REITs, junk, you name it. The utilities, the piling. It's you know, you have to try and find ways to mitigate inflation, right? And guess what? This is where you find it. Right? Here's a Chicago PMI. I'm really not that interested in Chicago. Like I say, I'm more interested in the Dallas, and that one really has me concerned. Okay. What do we got here? This Carolyn Borden, the Fibonacci Queen. But to be honest with you, Robert Miner is the top dog. I keep telling you this. Please pay attention to him. He doesn't post often, but he is looking for a top in the market this week, rollover, breaking the lows. Just saying. I don't know. We'll see what happens, right? So this, as you can see, here's Oxy into the daily, and it basically hit the first fib extension. Okay. To me, look, I've mentioned that these are long-term swings for me. I mean, you know, I bought added to down here. Okay. I mean, I sell the pops and I buy the drops. That's how you play commodities. And that's commodity trading 101. All right. Well, no lipstick here, right? For Meta. I mean, well, I don't know what to tell you. How low can it go? Obviously low. I wonder at what point Zuckerberg says, no mas, I've had enough pain, right? Apple top dog, then comes Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Tesla, and NVIDIA kind of in this lower quadrant. But I mean, you cannot compare NVIDIA to Meta. It just doesn't work that way, right? Okay. So what have we got going on here? It's something really fascinating. And I wish they had put this because we got such a large rally going on in the industrials, right? That we're seeing the Dow, which has a lot of industrials in it, right? Outperforming all the indices. So I still think and continue to think small caps is the place to be. It's a safe little thing, even if you're long small caps and you're short other stuff, right? We know, thank you very much. Elon Musk wants to more paying Twitter users, hinting at $8 a month for verified accounts. Okay, this is how he's going to make his money back. I guess the question is, if I had to pay $8 a month, would I? Well, yeah, because it's more. I only use it for business, so I know. California, no comment. Natural gas ban, no comment. No. Why don't they just secede and become their own country? Right? Well, the rest of the United States was being in the shitter because so much of the GDP comes out of California. But anyways, all right, this is really important. It's these women, white suburban women, who basically really do dictate who gets into power. If they're voting Republican, then it should be a sweep. But once again, I'll continue to say, be careful what you wish for. I would not want to be any party in control for the next couple of years, okay? Because there is no easy path forward. And let's see, if you can legislate, fine, but we've been in gridlock for how many years now? So there's no legislation going through, right? In the Congress, it's easier, but in the Senate, it's harder, right? OPEC plus, UAE is not happy. All right, so what's going on here in terms of Saudi Arabia and the US? Because Iran is going to invade or attack Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I would not want to be in this building. I'm just saying, I would not want to be in this building. And I bet they're going to charge a ton of money too. I mean, like millions, right? It's a luxury condo in Miami. It's got to be millions, right? Tens of millions, some of these. Sorry, no way, Jose. I would be, with a hurricane, scared shitless. Gold, good luck returning your unwanted clothes in election. I think this should be addressed, okay, to be honest with you. I think they should cut back the time, like a month or whatever, 2 weeks, whatever. Okay, I did not know. I have to do this because I did not know. For all you cornholers out there, Baggate, I guess they used an illegal size bag. I guess this is big money. Not much I can say about that. All right. I am absolutely positively speechless, gobsmacked, because this reminds me of my early days, my youth, right? Metals are coming back. All we need is currencies, and it's like a round tripper, right? Love it. You can make money in metals. And especially in the commodity super cycle, you can make money in metals. All right. Let me go back here to Seeking Alpha. What have they got going on here? Paramount, we know. Federal Reserve poised. Yeah. Then what? I don't know. This is interesting, this warning out of NIST. They've already started to pivot in terms of, and I told you this before, a lot of these shippers are starting to pivot, and instead of doing tankers, they're actually doing, because of the smaller volume, they're doing airplanes, which I thought was pretty fascinating, right? Get a couple of those big boys, right? Military grade, and off you go. Walmart takes aim at Amazon with half off special on its subscription service. Yes. Hi, that's about it. Says sell the rallies in 10-year US Treasury whips. That just makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because next, right, don't expect Powell to tip his hand. Well, we know that. F- all the way, right? How to beat the IRS, sell your Bitcoin and buy it back in a day. Okay, cool. This is kind of unusual, right? That we would be having Fed Day right now, November 2nd, and it's still not. I mean, this is kind of very, very unusual. Just to let you know that it wouldn't be 90% or something like that. So there's a little bit of uncertainty, and let's see if it'll pop up. Okay. So this is kind of fascinating. This is all that matters is next month, right? This is 75, 50, and 25. Okay. So 50-50 right now. This is really important. Okay. What do we got? Airbnb. Eesh. For all the wrong reasons. Amazon, Pfizer. Oop. Pfizer, Amazon, Airbnb just shifted a little bit. Okay. Well, let's see what's going on here in terms of insider. Really not very exciting. No rocket in the pocket today. Well, I mean, really not very exciting. This was kind of interesting. MF1 Okay, a director, but a lot of these are 10% owners. So it's kind of like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Insider selling options, right? So tied to options, 10% owners. This is not surprising, right? We're always seeing this. Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's take a look here. Okay. 2 upgrades, 11 downgrades. So it's 5-1 now. Okay. And I mean, I can't get excited. That's not exciting. For those of you who've been here around, we only look at the top dogs, dogettes, the studettes, and that's it. Okay, so this is the last week. All right, so it's almost 4-1. This is what actually happened in 2018 from October to December. And then we had that massive plunge protection team coming in, as well as huge trillions of dollars going over into dog pool. All right, this is the kind of setup I'm thinking we're getting into soon. Okay. I don't know. Look, the reality is you want to look at bad news, good action, right? That's what we're focused in on. Look, this is like when you lower your guidance, okay, and you raise the price on it, that's L for loser. Okay, I can't get excited about that. This is kind of interesting. This Echo Labs, this is from Deutsche Bank, David, 69%. That's pretty close to a 70%, right? And this SPNE, like I said, I can't get excited. What do we got here? The Dow was surge relative. We know this to be true. Okay, and a lot of that, this is the ratio. You know, I love my ratios, right? This goes back when the Dow, after the past 30 days, outperformed by 5%. This is a big deal, my friends. Okay, and you can see why it's a big deal. We're back to 1928. What does it mean? Okay, going forward. Short term, but it still continues. Okay, so what does that mean? Don't forget we're entering strong seasonality for industrials and stuff like that. That will continue to support and catapult the Dow higher. Right? Gains against the NASDAQ are even more impressive. This is 10%, right? 1974. Okay, this is actually interesting. Okay, this basically says that the NASDAQ, no. Right? This is the Dow. Okay, we'll see. Lumber, seasonality, strong. It's already starting to get bad, right? Cumulative, right? Number of times up, 29 against 7 down. Okay, this is this period of time, 206 day to the beginning of the year, right? Percentage of times is 81.19 for those of you who are keeping score. Average dollar increase, decline. This is pretty impressive. Okay, just be aware of that. And what they're saying is that you should be buying wood, which is the ETF for lumber. I might actually take a look at it. We'll see. Citrini, are you in it with me on wood? You want to do it, my friend? Right? And this is Weyerhaeuser, obviously. Okay. All right, what do we got? Well, extension, right? Still extended. You know, we were deep red, now we're getting rosy red. And then here we got the little 2-year, right? Bonds. But I mean, this is not a surprise because of the 10-day, right? But it is starting. Energy continues, and I don't see that changing, but everything's resetting again. Okay, and even in Europe, you're starting to see Asia, where you're starting to see some things. Okay, so this was the fund flow. It's not updating, I don't think. All right, here we go. All right, so SPY had the biggest decline. Okay, way to go. A little bit into Qs, not much. So that went to cash. Okay. All right. So let's take a recap here. What happened last month? Okay. This is in terms of money flows, right? So money came out of utilities, hard, discretionary, hard, technology, industrials. It went into energy and healthcare. That should not be a surprise. These are my 2 stalwarts for the year. So far, so good, right? I think it's a pretty good year. just saying, I think we've had a pretty good year. And this has been my theme. right? And Staples is my third theme. Okay, and you can see in the past quarter, healthcare, yeah, and then a little bit coming out, but financials and technology, and then you have discussion. Past week, sector net buying across the board, bought. Okay. I think that's pretty cool. Right. It's time because where is my let's take a peek. We have to deal with let's see what's going on in terms of flows. I'm more interested in the bonds. Okay, so let's take a look at the 10-year. Right. So look at this massive increase in the 10-year. What the hell? Okay, it's not printing for me. But you can see right here, this is on the short side of the 10-year. This is leverage. They are short up the wazoo. They added other reportables, added Uzis and Mises added. Okay. But we also, Uzis and Mises bought too, more so. But this is kind of fascinating, right? 3920, these leverage funds continue to add to that. Right? Let's take a look at what else we got going on here. Let's take a look at the US dollar as well. I don't know why it keeps, this is a promo thing. Go away. You can see here, not much of a change here. But now let's take a look at what we got going on here in terms of, let's take a look at the Dow. Not a lot. Okay. And just for shits and giggles, natty gas. Let's take a peek at that. So managed money is short. You can see that. Other reportables is short. You can see that. So there's a huge short position in natty gas that I want to see. My narrative is let's squeeze it, baby. Uzis and Mises were net long. You can see that. Right? Let's squeeze these shorts, make them cover. Right? Let's take a little look a bit on the seasonality side, right? So this is what they're highlighting. I love this. This is out of Germany, this app. They're getting more and more robust with it. So that's fantastic. I don't look for monthly stuff. I always want to look at least 3 months worth. Okay. So let's just start the screener here. Okay. This is the Dow. And I like to go at least 15 years out. And I like to go 90 days. And I like to filter it with 80+%. Normally I like to go 90%. So UNH, Chevron, McDonald's, and KO, Coca-Cola. This is their strong seasonality going out. Now let's take a look at if we go to mid-November, the list changes as you can see. Honeywell, Caterpillar, Home Depot, and Cisco. I'm in Caterpillar, I'm in Honeywell, I'm in Home Depot, and I'm in UNH. Okay. So anyways, that's my story sticking to it. And then if you go out to December for 3 months, it becomes IBM, Honeywell. So Honeywell, the next has huge tailwinds in terms of seasonality going forward. And that's why I bought it. And I told you I was buying it. And we're up nicely on that position as well. 14%. 14.03%. I already have taken some profits in. I love this. Once we're done, we have to get through the election cycle, okay, for me to start looking at this, just so you know. Okay. But just for shits and giggles, let's just look at the NASDAQ as well. This is the NASDAQ 100. Okay, going back 15 years, this is 80%. There's a ton of stuff. So what we'll do is we'll tweak it a little bit higher, and you can see Netflix. This is huge seasonality. Okay. Bookings, ODFL. Old Dominion, I actually am in a small Old Dominion position, just in a little bit of FISG. These are some of the darlings that I used to when it was meaningful, when you looked at seasonality. It's so hard when you have so much government intervention going on, i.e. F- Fed, Powell. Just saying. All right. yield curve inverting a little bit against the 30-year, right? Canada rates are up, everybody's got their rates up, right? And then Australia continues to do well. And then we're talking about Japan too today. We're going to do a lot. We're going to focus on some of these spreads, interest rates. Here's the 5-year. And like I say, the rate itself is not important to me. It's the inversion that is meaningful to me. Okay. So here's a 2.5. This is a bear flag. Let's see if it breaks. The stunning part about, and this is why Siegel has such a hard time with this. There is no way this inversion should be down here, okay, unless rates were much higher. Okay, that's the problem right now. I'm talking almost 6% right now. That's the problem. And these guys are screwing it up once again. Look, Janet Yellen's doing all she can in terms of the yield curve, but this is too big a force. Once again, look at the 210 here, right? She was buying the 10-year, but this is about to snap. Okay, this is unprecedented. And this is where that whole narrative about the over tightening is taking place, because the quantitative, look, let's be honest here. The balance sheet building started in 2008 financial crisis, okay, and it was never addressed. Then you add on the quantitative easing, okay. Now the Fed all of a sudden says, "Oh, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off." This is what it looks like when you rip the Band-Aid off and you double tighten. This is the mismanagement of this Fed in terms of what they're doing, right? So here's the 10-20. This is very stable. So you go farther out, it makes sense, right? Nothing really is going on. It's all the short end of the curve that they're screwing up. Here's the 5 against the 30. Okay, this was basically, technical into this monthly downtrend line, right? Unable to break it, bear flagging, will probably snap. This is just long-term implications are really, really, really robust. Now, if you look in terms of the 530, we're not there yet. Are we there yet? No, but we're getting there, right? This is just such a crazy ass. Finally, we've got the inversion, right, on the 3-month 10-year. So this is finally catching up to where it should be, okay? When this starts to happen, 8 months later, you get a recession. How shallow that recession is, F minus Fed, probably deeper than we expect because they're screwing it up. I know I'm coming down hard, but this is factual, okay? So this is the disconnect, right? We should actually be down here on the 10-year, and we're not. And remember I said to you, this is where we're going, okay? This is where we're going. I don't see how you don't fill the gap on that. All right, here's China. Whoop. Here's UK, right? Double top here, right? And let's take a look in terms of the internals here. Here's the 2.5 look. They did what they needed to do, right? In terms of the inversion. They were able to get it all the way up here, okay? That's a huge bounce. Like I say, 281%, big deal, right? And here you can see the 510 popping as well on the inversion. Okay, now basically positive, right? Our Fed is not going to do this stuff. Okay, when you look at it this way, it's not horrific, to be honest with you, because if you go back to this financial crisis here, basically, even if you go back to 2008, right? Basically, it held the 2008 low. Not so much here. This is why the world is saying to the United States, get your act together, right? In Germany, you can see here the 2.5, fine, right? It's holding up fine. It hasn't even gotten to the 2008 financial crisis issue, or down here as well, okay? It's here in the United States, let's see. And here's the 510, you can see here, right? It's holding up, and then you can basically have here. So this would be the financial crisis, a mild inversion. This is still positive. And here you can see the 10-year just hanging around right now. Japan, I have to, 2-year. Negative still, right? Here's the 1 year, negative still. But guys, this has been negative since 2015. Just saying. And this is the sad part about what's going on in Japan, and we do look at it, but it really, you can't. I mean, you just can't. I'm sorry to say this, but you can't. This has been, I mean, I remember 1980s, 1990s, right? When that was their heyday, right? When the Japanese were buying everything and then they were holding everything and they were selling stuff at 50%, 60%, 70% discounts on the real estate side. They bought a ton in Hawaii, California, New York. Anyways, here's the 10-2, right? Guess what? Still positive. Here's the 10-year. Let's take a peek at the dollar. The dollar is still holding up here fine. Okay. It has not broken this weekly uptrend line. Right, that goes back to February. Okay. Until we break this quadrant right here, this is a reversion to the mean, then we're talking about something more serious. This is still very, very sticky. And here you can see, once again, for those of you in the room, have listened to me, I shouted out down here bright and early before anybody else did, that we were going to 7+. We're going to 8+ now. I've been saying this for a couple months now. Right? Okay, crypto. Okay. Commodities. Sea of green. We get, this is what it looks like. You can't micromanage this stuff. Natty gas is really interesting right now. It's holding fine, right? Citrini. I don't mind this at all in terms of what's going on. You see copper, all these industrial minerals, silver's popping, gold's popping, right? Gold obviously is, look, there's going to be more and more trading of it. We know that the central banks have increased a ton. It's a joke, right? Ton. Anyways, all right, so what do we got here? For me right now, and Citrini had mentioned it, basically this is the pivot right now, this 23.6, 5.985. If you want to look at 6, whatever, we have to hold above that right now. And I agree with you on the weekly, no question about that, Citrini. But we bought down here, so we still got some money in it, right? Here's crude against natty gas. So you can see here the pullback. That only happens when natty gas starts to scream higher, or both crude is selling off and natty gas is well, you get the idea. It's a spread. This is heavily traded as well. Okay. Here's crude, still holding up fine actually on the monthly. You can see here reversion to the mean, holding this extension. So that still looks fine. Here's XLE USO, right? I still think, to be honest with you, and I've shouted this out, I said the refiners are going to take the lead against the physical. I still think that's going to continue. That's not changing, right? And here's gold crude. This is a heavily traded outside of the United States. Keep an eye on this one for the FOMC. Okay. All right, let's take a look at stocks. A little bit, all over the place, right? Tech is up slightly, right? We got this. China continues to rally, right? So I'm in some yen. Hey, in one of my accounts, I have some BABA. I still have some yang on. I have A-shares. I don't know. I'm just kind of looking over my shoulder. All right, here's the DAX. This is really key right now. This is a double top on the monthly. Keep an eye on this one. If it doesn't break through, then this is the range. Then this is the upper quadrant. This is where you sell. So I'm going to probably sell on most of my EWG swing. Okay. His FEZ. This is the pivot right here, also upper quadrant. This is where you sell, and you don't really buy back until you start to reclaim some of these extensions. EFA. You can see this. What's going on here? Small caps globally, mostly in the US, right? It's actually holding up fairly well, but I don't know if it is. And you can see here this extension. FXI. KWeb. EEM. CQQQ, we do care about this, right? And this is why we care about it. Okay, so yesterday we had this massive pullback. Guess what? Below this pivot. Let's see if we can start to reclaim it. If not, what's this telling me? That our market's going to sell off. That's, literally that. This is my bellwether to watch. This is a great indicator, right?
All right,
Saying-
Beth, ready to pop on whenever here.
Okay.
Ready, guys. Morning. What's going on? Let me just pop up the screen share here. There we go. So if you guys are new to chat and haven't already done so, make sure to click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. Once you do click on that Discord link, you're going to pop into the chat. It's going to look something a little bit like this. First area to go to, guys, if you guys are coming in from the free Discord chat. Oh, sorry. If you guys are coming in from the free Discord chat, you do need to leave the server first and then click that link. Otherwise, you won't be assigned the new rules. So you can see all the alert channels in the room. When you guys do come in, this is what it looks like. First area to go to, guys, when you do come in is this new to chat information section. Scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, you'll see a link to the disclaimer as well as this bolded risk reward section. Super important, guys. If you don't know what risk reward is, you aren't applying it, to go through the section and basically work it out for yourself, because you can't make money in trading unless you skew this ratio in your favor and have it set up for yourself. So it's the most important thing in trading. You go through the section, you got a video here explaining how risk reward works, made by yours truly. These risk reward profiles on top, which you can use to match your account size as well as your risk reward threshold. And you use that in conjunction with this risk reward calculator that I built for you to calculate risk reward on the go very quickly as you are trading. So no excuse not to be applying it. Continue to scroll down. You have summary of how this chat works, breaks down all these channels work on the left-hand side, so you can probably navigate the chat through the day. Below this, how to read alerts on the options and equity side right here. Options rules that we use in chat Monday to Thursday, as well as our SPX rules that we use every single day. Continue to scroll down. You have any with a small account less than 10K, breaking down if you do have a smaller account. Here's some rules, information, discipline we think makes sense to put in place, in our opinion, to grow your account. And then lastly, how to pick trades from an options or equity perspective. And you have issues there, you can also just follow the high conviction small account area. There's only 1 or 2 trades posted in that area a day, so that you can just follow along really easily there if you have issues picking anything, or you want to trade at a very low frequency. All right, pre-market tickers on watch. What do we got going on today, guys? A couple different things. Tesla, ROG, Match, YUM, SMCI, ARCT. So Tesla gapping down slightly in sympathy of the market. ROG, Rogers issue statement regarding DuPont's notice of termination of merger agreement. Match gapping up on earnings. YUM, same thing. SMCI, same thing. And ARCT announces collaboration with CSL to develop a commercialized self-amplifying mRNA vaccines. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. The first two we're looking at, guys, today are going to be Tesla and ROG. So let's have a gander. Tesla, ROG. Let's make this the daily, and let's go to this on here. So we have Tesla slightly gapping down with the market. And let's see what we got going on this thing from a technical standpoint. I would like to trade this Tesla. It was holding up pretty well yesterday. Came in a little bit near the end of the day there, but it did open up extended yesterday and then pull down to fill that gap. So not terrible by any means from a technical standpoint. It actually had to do what it did, in my opinion. Let's take a look at this thing intraday here. So pivot to the downside today is going to be right there. It's going to be the 229.17 spot. Levels unable to hold. We have room for continuation lower towards 225.18, the 222.09. Able to hold. We got room towards 223.35 to 240.30 on the upside. Overall on Tesla, going to be leaning on the bearish side today, looking for continuation lower if that pivot point is unable to hold. That is Tesla. Let's take a look at our ROG here, guys. Alrighty, ROG. This thing actually gets down shit low. Let's see where the next level of support is. 131. Okay. I think that should be okay. Let's take a look at this thing intraday. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, ROG pivot to the downside today, 137.06. Levels able to hold 146.47. 157.93. Unable to hold. We look for a pullback towards 123.56 to the 113.33 on the downside. Or merger it was as. Overall, actually going to be leaning more on the bullish neutral side today, looking for a little bit of a bounce. So we'll see what happens in that regard. If the pivot's reclaimed, I think you got a little bit of room to push back to the upside. Looks like before the merger happened, it was at around 197 a share. Obviously, things have changed in the market, but I think it's got a little bit of room to bounce here if that pivot point can reclaim. But that's the only way I would take it long, is above that pivot. So that's Tesla, that is ROG. Let's take a look at MTCH and Yum, aka Match and Yum. All right, Match guys, we got a little bit of a gap up here as well. 51.55 off the lows, not bad. We're right at the 50 EMA on the daily. Eye on that, but I will. Okay, let's take a look at this intraday. Right off the lows, actually pretty nice chart off the lows. If you can hold that 50 EMA, it's got quite the reversal setting up there. So right now, 50.74 is going to be your pivot. Last level is able to hold it towards 52.81. If that level breaks, I believe it's something in 54s. No, 55.80 will be tested. Unable to hold, we got room for continuation lower into the 48.05 to 46.19 on the downside. Overall on Match, going to be leaning bullish. Pivot needs to hold for continuation higher. That's the 50 EMA area. And if it does, I think it's got a nice little amount of room to the upside here. All right, let's take a look at Yum. So we're at 119.73. So Yum, a little bit of a push on earnings as well. Range on this one's typically pretty tight, so that up there. That should be okay, I think. So Yum pivot to the upside today is going to be the 118.58 spot levels holds. Room towards 119.47 to 120.41. Unable to hold. We got room back towards 117.39. That level breaks 116 on the upside. So, decent earnings. Did have a pretty good run into the earnings though. So we'll have to wait and see what happens out the gate. Obviously holds the pivot. We got a continuation grind to the upside. But I'm going to be leaning more on the bearish neutral side today. Looking for a little bit of a pullback if the pivot's unable to hold. That's Match, that's Yum. Let's take a look at the next two guys. It is SMCI and ARCT. All right, SMCI, let's take a look at what we got today. So what are we at again on the pre-market? 76.80. Yeah, this is all-time highs. If so, holy shit, nice. It is too, wow. Earnings were solid, I'll tell you that. What a nice quarter. Okay. Let's get two pivots. That should be good. Like that. 72.64 pivot to the up, sorry, 74.97 pivot to the upside today. Levels able to hold. 76.96 to 80.22 will be tested. Unable to hold. 72.64 to 69.49 will be tested on the downside. Overall on SMCI, going to be leaning bullish, looking for a continuation push to the upside today. If that pivot point's able to hold. ARCT pivot to the upside today. 24.65. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, 23.01 pivot to the upside today. Level holds 24.90 to 27.30. Unable to hold 20.90 to 19.65 on the downside will be tested. Overall on ARCT, going to be leaning bullish, looking for a continuation push to the upside today if that pivot point is able to hold. So that is SMCI and that is ARCT. So those are the individual names that we're looking at today, guys. Let's take a look at the SPY and the FANG. All right, 383.95 pivot to the upside today. Levels able to hold 387.03 to 389.17 will be tested. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback towards 380.50, 378.01 on the downside. Overall on the SPY, going to be leaning on the, and obviously we got FOMC today, guys, if you were unaware. Overall on the SPY right now, before the FOMC, I'm thinking that the market's going to hold this range. So 383.95 is going to hold. I think we get a little bit of a bounce off of it. Not a huge move. I think we can get to like 387. That's it. And then probably just trade within this inside range until the FOMC. But I'm leaning bullish neutral until the FOMC. Obviously, pivot breaks, and we can look to see continuation to the downside. And we'll kind of go from there. I'm going to get the upper end ranges on FOMC as well. So I think if, less hawkish, probably get to like 390, 392, probably around there out the gate. And then if worse than expected, probably 376, 373, 85 on the downside, something like that. Thinking like 10 points of range to 12. Today is what we're going to get on the release. That's the SPY. Let's go to Apple here. There we go. Pivot to the downside on Apple 148.51. Levels able to hold 149.75 to 151.02 will be tested. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback towards 147.46 to 146.45 on the downside. Going to be leaning on the bearish neutral side at the moment, unless that pivot's able to hold of the gate. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon 95.54 pivot, levels able to hold 101.23, unable to hold 97.96 on the downside will be tested. Going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side, looking for a hold of the pivot grind higher today. Let's take a look at Netflix. Netflix pivot to the downside today, 287.51 levels able to hold, 297.36, 305.31, unable to hold, 280.17 downside. Going to be leaning on the bearish neutral side unless it's able to hold the pivot this morning. If it does, they can get a little bit of a bounce. Just seeing a little bit of weakness in it before the FOMC. You may see some more profit taking. That's all. Let's take a look at Meta. All right, pivot to the upside today is going to be the 95.48 spot levels able to be reclaimed. Room towards 96.64 to 97.54. Unable to hold. We got room towards 93.54 on the downside. Overall on Meta, going to be leaning bullish neutral if the pivot point is able to hold today. A little bit of a bounce there. That's Meta. Let's take a look at Google, which acted like complete garbage yesterday, guys. Super duper relative weakness. All right, 90.35 pivot levels able to hold 91.85 to 93.57 will be tested. Unable to hold 88.30 to 86.91 on the downside. Overall on Google, going to be leaning bearish neutral, looking for a continuation lower today. That is Google. All right, let's take a look at the VIX, Qs and IWM real quick. All right, VIX guys, pivot today on this name. Oops, let's get that. Pivot to the downside today, or upside, I should say. 26.04. That level is able to hold 27.37, 28.02. Unable to hold. We look for a pullback towards 24.85. Not leaning any particular direction on the VIX, but obviously you got to be aware of the downtrend that's being tested at the moment. And yeah, I mean, listen, it's going to be up to the FOMC that's going to move the VIX and the markets, but you know, we got to pay attention to the VIX beforehand. Could get a little bit of a movement on the SPY before it does come out. 277.12 pivot on Qs, levels able to hold. We got room towards 280, unable to hold, 270.83, leaning bullish neutral, looking for it to reclaim, push a little bit higher. Again, I think, you know, you stay pretty much range bound, so I'm thinking in that regard. Let's take a look at the IWM. $183.06 level holds, 185.90, unable to hold 180.32 to 176.87 on the downside. Overall on IWM, we're going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side as well. All right, guys, so that's the spots of thing. Those are the individual names that we're looking at today. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to South Beach while I type up that pre-market action plan, and then we'll do a quick little recap before the open. South Beach, if you're ready, she's all yours.
Okay, hey guys. All right, so big day today, Fed meeting. Should get some volatility big time when that happens. Let's see where the bonds are now. Currently, not a lot of movement, 403 on the 10-year, which is down a little bit. The spread is 49, actually 50. So the inversion is 50 basis points, which is the highest I've seen, basically the high end of that range. I guess the bond market's forecasting a recession, right? Pretty simple there. 10-year in London is unchanged. Curve is flat, but not inverted. Germany rates are pretty flat. 214 on their 10-year. Italy pretty, yeah, who cares about Italy? Unless you're in Italy. Flat in France, et cetera. Japan hitting at 0.25, et cetera. See what else we got. Commodities, oil, dead flat. Natural gas up 34 cents. So bounced a little bit off that 5 level up to 6, down from 9.5. Gold is up. That means the dollar is going to be soft somewhere. Copper's unchanged, and these agricultural commodities staying in a trading range for the most part. Some have broken through trading ranges like cotton and sugar and stuff like that. But for the most part, in trading ranges. So that's that. Okay, let's look at currencies. So dollars down against North America. You know what's amazing? The Mexican currency, how strong it's been. It's really extraordinary. I mean, it's as strong as the dollar's been, which is pretty amazing. It's down against the yen. We're at 147 there. The Chinese currency is basically flat at 728. The euro's flat at 99. The pound is flat at 115. So basically, the currency market has been less volatile than it's been over the recent past. Crypto, Bitcoin dead flat. Ethereum's down 1.5%. Solana's down 3%. But in reality, that's $1. Okay, so it's not as big as you may think. Okay, and let's look at the foreign markets. This will populate. What is going on? What is going on with this thing? Oh, let me go to a different server. Give me a second. There we go. Okay. Foreign markets. FTSE's down 0.29, DAX is down the same, CAC is down the same, Nikkei dead flat. China was up, but it's coming in some there. Hong Kong, actually, it was up 1%. Hong Kong's up 2%, but the stocks are coming in, I should say, based on the news that just came out, which we'll discuss in a second. Okay, so that's the backdrop. So you got the banks and the Fed. They have a meeting today. We'll see. Okay. Well, I think the important thing is we all think we're getting 75. So if it came in 50, that would ignite a rally, number one. If they came in and said 75 and now we're data dependent, that would ignite a rally as well. Where's the terminal rate going to be right now? I think it's 5%. So what are they going to say about that? Or does he have the verbiage that, we still have a fight to fight, in which case the market will get smacked. We'll see. Okay. 2 o'clock is the time. So I would be very light at that time. Remember, when Fed Day, first move is the wrong move. Okay. China's out today talking about what I talked about yesterday. There was reports out that the lockdown is going to end. This zero COVID policy is going to end in March, and they're going to reopen, et cetera, et cetera. And I told you it was BS because he just got through with the party Congress saying zero COVID is, our policy. And sure enough, they came out and said zero COVID is their policy. Okay, no surprise there. I don't get what they do. I don't understand how they think. It's all I'm surprised at everything that comes out of China. What I'm not surprised about is North Korea launching a bunch of missiles last night. They got the call from China to launch the missiles because China didn't like what was going on. So they have this little puppet called North Korea. That's their diversion, and they're sending missiles flying all over the place. All right. Look, guys, this is, if it can't be more obvious what's going on here. Okay. We're preparing for either two worlds okay, a blue and a red, and or WW3. I'm not sure how it plays out. Both are pretty, one is scary and one is inflationary, right? Because we had been using the red team to produce all our goods. And now that they're not going to, the cost of those goods is going up, and there's not a damn thing Powell can do about it. All right, period, end of story. And the cherry on top of the sundae is to do this, to move the goods and services from the red team to the blue team, you have to employ people. So you see the job situation. So this fact, this geopolitical fact, is keeping that inflation genie out of the bottle. And it really doesn't matter what Powell does. Okay, as long as the narrative is to move goods and services from one to the other, you need people. Okay, and it's inflationary. In one place, they're making $1 a week. In the other place, they're making $25 an hour. You do the math. Okay, these are facts. This is not supposition. Okay, and the fact that people are surprised by it is shocking to me, quite frankly. Half the things that are going on in this world that are causing inflation, Powell has absolutely no effect over. Energy prices, he has no effect over. The US government does not have an energy policy, no matter what they scream and yell and talk about taxes and all the other bullshit. Okay, we have no energy policy. That's number one. Number two, employment. You move goods and services from one team to the other team, you need people to produce them. There's nothing you can do about it. And you have a Congress that wants to pay more and more money to low salaried workers. These are facts, okay? So good luck to Mr. Powell. All he can do really, I mean, he can absolutely crush real estate because it's really impossible to sell your house. I mean, if you're a salaried person without a lot of cash and you're in a 2 or 3% mortgage, you're not switching to a 7% mortgage. You're not. So you're basically stuck where you are until things change. So that's the real estate sector, and that's the reality of where we're at. Okay. Russia, what are they going to let us grain flow out of Ukraine? Ukraine last night said they shot down something like 12 of the 13 of those Iranian drones, which is encouraging. They also claimed that they've killed some extraordinarily high number of Russian soldiers, like some crazy number, maybe two. I read it earlier. I don't want to misquote it. So my guess in my head, I'm thinking north of 250,000 of them. Was it that high? Am I wrong, guys? Because I read it quickly and I just passed and I looked at the number and I said, holy shit, that is a lot of people to die. But I see you guys are writing, so you guys will correct me. Well, I'm just talking killed, not killed and injured, but whatever. It's a really high number and Putin could care less. In this country, they'd be pulling at the rafters. Anyway, it was a lot higher than I read in Spiro than 70, but whatever, it's moot. Let's just move on. Okay, mortgage rates came down a tinge, 716 to 706. UK inflation is stubbornly high. October, it was 6.6%. They call it shop price inflation. I guess it's what they, like a basket would cost if you went to you went out in the supermarket and stuff like that. So it actually increased over September. So it was 5.7% higher in September and 6.6% higher in October. Not good situation. Okay, and they're supposed to raise 75 basis points tomorrow. Okay. Mike Wilson, the end of Fed tightening is coming sooner than later. Goldman sees December 50, then 25 and 25. JP Morgan thinks that yields are topping out. We shall see. Okay, those three guys are all kind of sort of on the same page. Amazon is no longer a $1 trillion company. Ed Yardeni sees a Santa Claus rally. Jeremy Grantham, who is always bearish, his firm likes small caps. Okay, CVS and Walgreens did a opioid settlement. Maersk You know that shipping company out of, I think it's out of Holland? They made over $10 billion in the quarter, which is quite extraordinary in my opinion. What else do we have? Stocks that did well overnight as far as earnings are concerned. We have Chegg, CHGG. AMD was decent. Okay, it's up $3. Caesars was good. Match.com was good. Yum China, HCNP, Mondelez was good. These consumer non-durable companies have done very well. DuPont is up. It canceled the merger with someone, you know, what was it from RBI, I think. Wait, let me find it. Rogers. And there were no, they really didn't have an option market in ROG. They don't trade at all. So I doubt many people had puts. The outstanding is close to zero. So if these risk arb guys were in this one, they're feeling the pain, unfortunately. Rhythm had positive data. Benefactors got taken over by Voya. CVS was a good number. Now the stock, it was just unchanged. Now it's up $1.88. And Humana looked decent, and it's down a little bit also. So something must have come out in the conference call they didn't like. Unum was good. BAND was good. Yum was good. On the negative. So everybody thought Devon was a sure thing. Not so fast. Down. CWH missed. That's the RV thing from the guy that used to be on CNBC. I forget his name. Paramist. Stocks at Pig. That's that, you know, when that guy finagled the stocks, I forget his name. He took this stock up to above 100. Now it's $17. Goose missed, Estee Lauder missed, JLL missed. I think they have office buildings. CDLX missed, a bunch of misses, guys. Pru, etc. Okay, I want to talk about something that I want to give you guys a math lesson, if you don't mind, about how hedge funds work. If you want to hear that, I think it's pretty interesting. Okay, so I took this. I've been talking about this CAS Investment Partners. Okay, so they have 6 positions. Well, how many? 5 positions left. Okay, 5. They only have 5 positions, and I looked at their returns for the last 10 years. Okay. Okay, so just listen to this. This is kind of interesting, and I did the math, and it's a 2 and 20 fund, which means it's 2%. They get as a management fee and 20% of the profits. Okay, so I did they went in business 2012, so they've been in business for 10 years, and here are their returns. Okay, 14%, 66%, 6%, 14%. I could go 14 and the market was down 1%. 66, the market was up 32%. 6%, market was up 13. 14%, the market was flat. 22%, market was up 12. 31% versus 21. 29% minus 4. 19, they made 64%, double the market 31. In 20, they made 96%. Okay, market was up 18%. And in 21, they were up 3%. So those numbers, 14, 66, 6, 14, 22, 31, 29, 64, 96, and 3, all positive years. Okay, you with me? Yes? So all positive years. Now I'm assuming they get 2 and 20 of those returns. Okay, and in this year, they have Hilton Grand Vacations, HGV, it's down about, what, about 30%. Carvana is down about 95%. Okay, they have 61, they have how much? 6.7 million shares of that one. WRLD is down its ass. Look at this one, WRLD. Okay, it's gone from 270 to 70 or 80. Then they have this Cartalytics, this stock missed today also. So this stock has gone from what? 160 to $7. Okay, you get the drift. So this year they're probably down. I use 68%. They're probably down more like 75%. So if you put in $1 million, okay, $1 million in 2012, how do you think you're doing? How do you think you've done for the 10 years that you've tied up money with this guy? Any guesses? Nobody wants to give an answer. Nobody cares about this. I think I'm trying to tell you how hedge funds work, guys. Okay, I'm trying to teach you something that you may not know. Okay. How do you think it's worked out? How do you think the investor has done, and how do you think the manager has done? Okay, these are extraordinary returns, 14%, 66%, 29, 64, 96. These are big freaking numbers, guys. All right, so I'm going to give you the answer, okay? If you put in $1 million in 2012, you have $850,000 today. You lost $150,000. How do you think the manager did in those 10 years? How do you think he did? So you're down 150,000 on $1 million. Okay, and how do you think he's done? Any guesses? He made $760,000. You lost $150,000. He made $760,000. The guy had $2 billion under management. He's now a billionaire. Okay, and the $2 billion is now worth $1.7 billion. So his investors lost $300 million, and he made $1.5 billion. What does that tell you? Do not invest in 2 and 20 deals ever. Okay, do not invest in hedge funds, period, end of story, unless they're long short funds. Okay, even this guy, what's his name? You know, the protege of Tiger Global, got his ass kicked this year. All the profits this guy's made over time, you're probably even. This guy made billions and billions and billions of dollars. Do not invest with these knuckleheads. You want to be in the market, buy SPYs, buy Qs. You do not need these guys. It's a sham. Take it from someone who was on the other side of the scam, I should say. Okay? It's a scam. Everybody loses except the manager. Long short funds are a different animal because that's a true hedge fund. But these guys who play the long side, there's, you know, in 10 years, okay, he had one terrible year. That's the math, okay, on the stock market, guys. So my point is this, okay? Don't put money with these knuckleheads ever. That's the first thing. The second thing is we're gearing up for Powell today. Let's be really, at the time Powell speaks, you should be super flat so you can focus on the move. The first move is usually the wrong move, okay? And we'll see what he has to say in either the statement or the conference afterwards. That can move stocks a lot, okay? So that's the story from me. I'm out of time. I hope you found this interesting because it took me a little bit to go through it. And Spartan, it's all yours.
All righty, thank you, South Beach guys. Morning, what's going on? Let's do a quick little recap of what we talked about today. So I'm just going to rip through the pre-market stuff, guys, and then we'll close on the YouTube stream, and then we'll go through the new to chat information section once again. So let's kind of just do that. All right, so if you guys are new to chat, make sure to click the Discord link that's emailed to you. Pop into chats, look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in is pre-market ticker section. Sorry. Let's take a look at the pre-market ticker section. So everything's typed up, posted, guys. What do we got? ARCT, SMCI, all the charts are posted. Yum, match, Tesla, ROG. If you guys are watching YouTube stream, you can simply just pause it and read the pre-market action plan here. I'll show you the option side as well. There you go. All right, let's take a look through what we did today. So all the charts are posted. Tesla, ROG, match, Yum, SMCI, ARCT. So Tesla gapping down slightly in the market. ROG, Rogers issued statement regarding DuPont's notice of termination of merger agreement. Match gapping up on earnings, Yum gapping up on earnings, SMCI gapping up on earnings, ARCT, and that's a collaboration with CSL to develop commercialization self-amplifying mRNA vaccines, gapping up. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. First two names we're looking at today, guys, Tesla and ROG. Let's have a look at these and let's pop up this platform here. There we go. Okay, so Tesla and ROG, let's have a look. So Tesla 229.17, pivot to the downside today. Levels unable to hold 225.18 to 222.09, able to hold 233.35 to 240.30 on the upside will be tested. Overall on Tesla, going to be leaning bearish, looking for a continuation lower if the pivot's unable to hold. Let's take a look at the ROG here. ROG, guys, 137.06 pivot level holds. Room towards 146.47 to 157.93. Unable to hold 123.56 to 113.33 on the downside will be tested. On ROG, leaning bullish only if pivot can be reclaimed and held. Let's take a look at match. Take a look at YUM. MTCH, beautiful daily chart breaking the downtrend back above the 50 MA. Pivot to the upside is the 50 MA area. 50.74 level holds, 52.81 level breaks, 55.80 will be tested. Unable to hold 48.05, 46.19 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral there. YUM pivot upside today, going to be the 118.58 spot level holds, 119.47 to 120.41 will be tested. Unable to hold 117.39 to 116 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral there as well. Let's take a look at SMCI. Let's take a look at ARCT. SMCI 74.97 pivot level hold, 76.96 to 80.22 will be tested. Unable to hold 72.64 to 69.49 on the downside. Overall on SMCI, leaning bullish neutral, looking for a continuation push to the upside today if the pivot can hold. ARCT 23.01 level holds, 24.90 to 27.30. Unable to hold 20.90 to 19.65 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral on ARCT. Let's take a look at the SPY and FANG. All righty, so market, guys, FOMC day, of course. Let's write the levels out for you. By 383.95. Pivot to the upside today. This level holds. Room higher into the 387.03 resistance. Breaks. We see the 389.17 tested. Pivot unable to hold. Room lower into the 380.50 support. Breaks. We see the 378.01 tested. Leaning bullish neutral. Looking for a continuation push to the upside today if that pivot point is able to hold. That is the SPY there. One sec, guys. Excuse me. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the thing. Apple pivot to the upside today is going to be, or downside, I should say, is going to be the 148.51 spot levels unable to hold 147.46. 146.65 will be tested. Able to hold, we look for push towards 149.75 to 151.02 on the upside today. Overall, on Apple leading bearish neutral, looking for continuation lower. Let's take a look at Amazon. Pivot to the upside today. 95.54 level holds 101.23, unable to hold 87.96 on the downside. Overall on Amazon, going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side today if that pivot point can hold. Let's take a look at Netflix. Pivot to the upside today is going to be the 287.51 spot level holds 297.36 to 305.31, unable to hold 280.19 on the downside. Leaning bearish neutral on that name if the pivot's unable to hold. Let's take a look at Meta. Pivot to the upside today is 95.48 levels able to hold 96.64 to 97.54 will be tested. Unable to hold 93.54 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral only if pivot can be reclaimed. Google pivot upside today, or downside, I should say, 90.35 levels able to hold 88.30, sorry, 91.85 to 93.57. Unable to hold 88.30 to 86.91. Going to be leaning on the bearish neutral side there. Let's take a look at the VIX, Qs, and IWM. All right, VIX. 26.04 pivot level holds 27.37 to 28.02, unable to hold 24.85 on the downside. Overall, the VIX is going to be leaning no direction, but watching for direction on the market. QQQs pivot upside today, 277.12, level reclaims 282.80, unable to hold 270.83, leaning bullish neutral there. And then last but not least, IWM guys. 183.06, level holds 185.90, unable to hold 180.32 on the downside. And leaning bullish neutral if the pivot can hold there as well. So that's SPY, that's a FANG. Those are the individual names that we're looking at today, guys. We'll see what happens today. Should be an interesting one. If you guys are watching the YouTube stream, thanks for joining us this morning. We do this every single Wednesday, or try to. Sometimes we push it to Thursdays if we miss a Wednesday. And yeah, feel free to pop in next week. You can also pop into the free Discord. The link is in the description of the video. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, guys. If you want to come trade with us, you can certainly do so.